Hey, if you don't know me, I am Shannon from Shannon Talks Yarn, and this is my Sunday podcast, and I'd like to talk a little bit to you about what I did in my yarny week. I'm also very curious to know what you did in your week. Did you get a lot accomplished? Did you crochet a lot? Or was it more of a week of rest for you? Let's get into it. So the first thing for me is that it totally got away from me this week, and I did not get as much accomplished as I wanted to. My time management skills were not exactly on point this week. So I was supposed to be finishing up the last video in the Fluffy Butt yarn series where I'm making some headbands. And some of them will be similar to this one right here. And they won't be exactly like this, but if you are interested in this one, I do have a video I did on it that I will link up here for you. But basically, I got pretty involved in making headbands for some of the students to wear for a basketball game that will be in my town at the end of the month. And it's called Slamming the Stigma, and it is to help bring awareness to mental health issues. So for me, crochet is something that helps with my anxiety and my mental health, and so I had reached out to my contact that's involved in it and just kind of talked to her about, why I do this and that it would mean a lot to me if I could contribute in my way, and she was totally up for that. And if you saw my video where I unboxed Joann's order, I will go ahead and link that up here. You'll see I wasn't sure about the Karen, I think, was it a Karen Jumbo I had gotten? It was a variegated yarn. It had a little more of like I was hoping it was more purples and teals, but it had a little bit of pink in there. And when I showed the pictures to my contact and we were messaging back and forth, and she just explained as well that because of boys basketball regulations in the state of Iowa, that the team was going to need to be wearing white uniforms, but then they were going to have some of those mental health awareness colors on them. So it did kind of open up a little bit more and give me a little bit more freedom as to what I could do for the headband. So I'm probably not going to make a video on that, but I will just real quick just kind of show you what I've been doing. So I've got this whole baggie, and what I'm doing is kind of creating my own little assembly line. So basically I am making strips. This is what I have gone with so far, since the uniforms will be white, and they'll just have the accents of the color. And this actually seems to be my best technique of doing this. So these are the style of headbands where you end up folding it like that, the 4 ways, and sewing it together. And then when you turn it inside out, you end up with that nice little fold there in the center, almost looking like a knot, even though it's not. So I have worked, and I've gotten so many of these done. I do have a couple other patterns that I did, like very similar to the one I am currently wearing, where I just need to go in and then in the front create that little bit of yarn that brings that down and creates, like a center point like this right here. So I've got a couple of those. I'm kind of varying the styles just so I don't get super bored of one particular technique, and I'm just kind of varying the sizes, making some a little bit smaller and a little bit larger. So then yesterday I did also go into Joann, and I had, if you did watch that video where I unboxed the Joann order, I had ordered that Pound of Love, and it was supposed to be pastel green, and it was like a beautiful robin's egg blue color. So that one at work, I'd been hanging on to that for a couple weeks until I could make it to a town with a Joann. So I did get up and took care of that return. It was fairly easy. There wasn't a packing slip in the box, but I was able to just bring up the Joann's app on my phone, and she was able to get the order number off of there and the money was like instantly back on my credit card. So super easy as far as how that went. I looked around and they were having some really good sales, but I had my daughter with, and I don't know, maybe I should take her shopping with me more, because I don't know, my focus was just on other stuff, and I did not end up buying any yarn at Joann's. So we did also go to Hobby Lobby and Dollar Tree, but she was looking for other things, and so again my yarn purchases just kind of went on the back burner, which was also fine. But when I was at Joann's, I had seen that they have an incredible deal going on, and I believe it actually goes until November 19th, which seems absolutely insane to me. But the Red Heart Super Saver Jumbos and Ombres were both $4.99, so that is a fantastic deal. So when I got home and had a little more time to think, I had gotten on my Joann's app, and I had seen that they did have 99-cent shipping, which isn't really 99 because then they add on $4 for handling, so it's $5 shipping. But they had that, and then they had where you would take an additional 20% off your order. So it didn't work on doorbusters, and they had the regular size of the Super Savers were a doorbuster, and those were $3.50. So when I tried to add them to my cart, it said they would not ship. So I did not end up getting any of the regular size ones, because I would have loved to pick up a couple more of those Super Saver brushed. But again, those were not applicable to the 20% off and the free 99-cent shipping. But I was able to get several of the ombres sent to me, and I'm super excited about getting those. I have used the ombre before, and I absolutely love it. I had used the deep teal, and I still have 2 of those left, so I did not order any of those, but I got a few other colors. When I was in the store, the one I was the most tempted by was the cocoa, and so I hope the ones I get are from a similar dye lot and look like that, because they were brown, but they had like almost like a reddish hint to the brown, if that makes sense. So I absolutely loved it, and I am excited to get those, and when I get those I will definitely do an unboxing. I'm not sure if my kitten is being like a crazy little dude or not, so he may be making a short but brief appearance here if he jumps up. But some of the other things I wanted to talk about real quick is that I saw a couple videos, and I don't know if these are more channel related updates, so if that doesn't interest you, that is just fine. But if you are a YouTube yarn creator, this might be of interest to you. I follow Nick Nimmin, and I will go ahead and link his channel below. I'm going to move my camera. Here's little dude. Little dude. He's getting bigger all the time. Do you guys remember that first video and how tiny he was? Back to the point, Nick Nimmin's channel. I'm not going to link the individual videos, but I will link his channel below so you can check that out if you would like to. But the first thing, I spent a decent amount of time this week reorganizing the playlists on this channel, because when, like, the past 6 months I've been on YouTube, I just so if I posted a video and I felt like it fell under like 3 categories, I put it under all 3 playlists. So that was problem number 1. So I had to first go through and bring them to just one playlist per video. Now, the reason I did this is because in that Nick Nimmin video, he was talking about if you have an official playlist set up, you have a far greater chance of the same videos being shown by YouTube underneath the video someone is watching. So not like on the home page when they get on, but when you're watching a video and you can scroll and the videos are underneath. And in order to put them on the official playlist, you have to go in. It doesn't work on the mobile app for YouTube Studio, but it is like if you get in it on your laptop or desktop computer and log in that way. And in his video, he does explain that. So just look for Nick Nimon's video on playlists, and it was within like the past couple weeks that I believe that was uploaded. So you'll find that. But I thought, you know what, it is worth a shot. And if someone is watching a particular type of video, I would definitely like it if YouTube would show them something similar I've done, if they're like, you know, watching it and liking it. So it's been too soon for me to see if those results are working or not, but definitely something to think about, you know, if you are able to access your YouTube Creator Studio from a laptop or desktop. So the next thing that Nick had talked about was a new feature that has been started by YouTube. And again, this is something where you need to be in on your laptop or desktop on the YouTube Studio, because when you scroll down, and there's a line that I'm used to seeing, and it says allow automatic chapters. So this is something where, you know, it'll kind of break it up. And I just let YouTube do its magic there, because I figure that the YouTube algorithm is probably better than me than figuring out where good stopping points are in my video. But the new feature is just below that, and it says allow automatic places. And this is something that is pretty new, and according to Nick, you cannot set it as a default. So you need to go in every time you upload and uncheck that box that says allow automatic places. And he goes into a little more detail on that, but basically it's because that could potentially be a privacy issue for you. You know, I have no problem that people know I live in Iowa, like I love it here. But, you know, I don't want them necessarily knowing my address, if that makes sense. Like, that's just not something you want to broadcast and just have available to, you know, every scammer in the world that watches YouTube. So I don't think it's going to show, like, your address or anything per se, but what it does is if you are in a restaurant or a store or something like that, it could potentially list that location in the video description. So watch Nick's video on the updates as far as that goes to get a little more detail. Like, I'm not trying to be like scary or anything, but I think it's just something potentially to be aware about. And if you are already going into YouTube Studio and editing on that page, it literally takes half a second to unclick that box. So I am definitely doing that from here on out. The other thing I did for my channel this week is I had said in last week's podcast that I had taken that YouTube Jumpstart Challenge from Jessica Stansberry, and she did talk a lot about thumbnails. So since I upgraded to Canva Pro, it is different, and I have found it's been helpful because I am a maximalist and I have a ton of stuff, like a ton of crap in all my photos. So like busy patterns and stuff like that. So I have been going through all of my older thumbnails and taking, like, I've tried to take the same photo, like if I'm holding up something, I try to take that same photo and put it in, but clear out the background, use less words, and just make it easier for the viewer to maybe, you know, like understand what I'm trying to say a little bit better, have less clutter on there. So hopefully that is working as well. Hopefully it's more enjoyable for you to look through there and just see less clutter. So that took a while. And then the very last thing is I was very excited. I was watching Kristen Crochets, and she had done just a fun video last week where she played, I think she called it like crochet roulette, where she put a bunch of different criteria in a bowl and then pulled it out. So she ended up having to make, I think it was like a blue 5-weight yarn into a scarf. So she did that, and that was kind of fun. And so I just put down in the comments, I'm like, Kristen, will you pick a project for me that way? She got back with me, and so we are actually going to be working on a collab that way where we're picking each other's projects. So I am pretty excited about that. We are just in the very beginning stages of that. I am sure that if you watch my channel, you probably also watch Kristen, so you know who she is. But I did just see she just reached a huge milestone, and she now has 1,000 subscribers. So I am super, super happy for her, and congratulations, Kristen, if you are watching this. I am so excited for you. But I am definitely also open, like if you are another small yarn channel, I am definitely reach out to me if you would like to work on a project together. I definitely prefer smaller type projects. I don't want to do like a crochet along. That's like a big blanket. That's going to take a long time because unfortunately I don't have, the time frame necessarily to go into that. But yeah, I am definitely up for anyone if you want to reach out and we can work on a project like that. You can always email me at shannon@shannontalksyarn.com. And we can kind of go from there and check out like what we both enjoy doing. So I would love that. I know I talked so much about the ombre yarn that's on sale at Joann's right now. So I am going to go ahead and link right up here for you a video I did where I compared two different ombre yarns. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to get in on that sale on the ombres, definitely watch this video. I think you'll like it. I think you'll find it helpful. And I just appreciate you sitting and talking yarn with me today. See you next week, guys.